Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel on Microsoft Power Platform. My name is Mitanshu Garg and I'm an advanced developer of solutions and workflows using Power Platform. I will post videos in this channel related to various concepts that can be very helpful to you at various stages of your Power Platform journey. I will be using SharePoint List and Dataverse as the data source for most of my videos. In today's video, we are going to lay the foundation and create a SharePoint list together. And we'll try to reference the same SharePoint list in various other videos when we are learning different concepts. And this will ensure that we keep consistency between our different videos. So without further ado, let's switch over to my desktop and start discussing. I have a SharePoint site here. And if I go to the site contents using the left navigation bar, I come over to the screen where I can see all the different SharePoint lists, the different document libraries that I have. Now, for now, I don't have anything because I wanted to create our very first SharePoint site together and learn some concepts along the way. So we'll go to new and I want to create a list. So I'll select the first option as list. Now there are three different ways to create a list at the moment. So the first one is blank list. The second is from an Excel. So if you've got an Excel spreadsheet where your content is formatted as a table, you can upload it directly and it will create a list for you. And from an existing list. So if you already have a list in current SharePoint site or a different SharePoint site in your tenant, you can use it to copy the same structure. It does not copy your data, it just copy your structure. Now, when we are learning the concepts, I think it is best that we start with a blank list, we start with a blank canvas and put our personality on top of it. So I usually untick show in site navigation and let's create a list and we'll call it students and a list of students enrolled in a course. I personally always prefer to add description and the reason for that is for the future developer and to ensure there is continuity between various developers in the same tenant, they would know what a particular list is about. So I hit the create button. And there you are, our first SharePoint list has been created. Now, there are different column types in a SharePoint list. And what we are going to do is in this list, we will create we'll create a lot of different column types. And the reason we do that is when we are learning concepts in Power Apps and Power Automate, we would be able to use different column types and make sure, we are learning everything in a comprehensive manner. So the first column is title. We can rename it if we want. However, internally within SharePoint, it will still remember it to be a title column. So just to make this look a little better, so I'm going to call it as first name. Now you can, like in this case, I have used a space. Again, internally, SharePoint list does not have a space for it. I go and now if you see, I've got a choice of lots of different types of columns. And if I hit more, I would be able to see a lot of other different type of columns over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one of multiple, the most common types. So the next column I'm using is I'm calling it as last name of the student. And I hit OK. So I've got a last name as a single line of text. A single line of text can hold up to 255 characters. So I have a feeling that my first name and last name will be within 255 characters. Then the next thing I'm taking out is the email address, which again I'm keeping as single line of text. Then I am picking up a number column and I'm using age. So I don't need any decimals in that. So age would be a number column. And the reason to specify the different column types is so that your SharePoint understands what type of data it is going to store, and it will apply some basic validation for you as well along the way. Then the other very common type of column is multiple line of text. Over here you can add as many characters as you like. So I'm going to call it as remarks. So if you want to add a remarks for a student. The next one we will create is again a very common type is a choice column. So we will call it as the course that the user is enrolled into, and we'll give it various choices. So we'll call it Power Automate, SharePoint, and apps. Then we also need, when a person enrolled into the course. So we'll take their enrollment date. And in this case, we are not interested in the time, but if you want, we can have the time as well. The other column types which are very common is the yes and no column. So we would put this as whether the user is active or not, and we'll leave the default value as yes, so that every time a record is created, if we don't specify anything, the default would be a yes on it. So that is, our SharePoint list has been created with 8 different columns in there. And if you head over to the list settings, you would see title was a column which was created for us by the SharePoint list. It's a required column here. Now there are a couple of columns put here, modified and created. Now this is our metadata columns which SharePoint list has created for us. And every time we add a record, it will put the created date and timestamp for it. And every time that record is modified, and it would pick up the modified date and time. In the same way, I will have created by and modified by columns. Again, these are the columns which SharePoint list has created for me. And these are a person or a group columns. So it would include the value of the person who has created a record. And after that, anybody who modifies their name would be their entire people object would be stored under the modified column. So that is what we have for the for our SharePoint list. Now what we are going to do is the next thing we are going to do is add some dummy data into it. Now to add the data, there are two ways. Either I can hit this new button and I can add the values one at a time, or alternatively I can go to the grid view, and if I have the data already in a spreadsheet, I can select a row and copy all my rows from an Excel and just paste it over here. So I would rather, not, I don't want to waste your time in watching me, type every single value. So I will go and populate these, and I will see you in our next video when we learn a new concept regarding Power Apps. Thank you. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so that you can continue getting updates about new videos that come out.